Greetings, everyone. Just a little bit of housekeeping announcement before we begin the program. Please be reminded that the audiences should turn their microphone off throughout the session, and also make sure to be careful with any display button on the Zoom to avoid any disruption. Should you have any question to ask, you are allowed to ask in the chat box. Your cooperation is deeply appreciated.
Assalamualaikum, Salam Sejahtera and Salam UiTM di Hatiku. First of all, we would like to express our honorable gratitude to our special invited guests and to the supportive audience for joining today's event. Siri Wacana Ilmu Perkongsian Elective SWAT 7 series with the title of Career Path and Academic Sharing Session with Hcca. My name is Zulikram Kasim and today with my partner, Kashrina Kahira. So we will be your moderator for today's program.
To begin the ceremony with a blessing from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, I would like to invite Encik Muhammad Sobri bin Ismail to lead the Doa recitation and a moment of silence. For the non-Muslim, they can pray according to their own belief.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Let us open our webinar today by reciting Kitab Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Ya Fa'alul lima yurid. In this glorious day, we uphold our hand to pray gratefully, to thank on your infinite favor to us till we can live in peace and harmony to perform our task as your servant. O Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we have gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessing, and end with your forgiveness. Oh Allah, we ask your blessing to make this webinar in success and also make the day that we have gone through with guidance and end with victory of excellence. Ya Allah, Ya Muhaimin, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, let our efforts as a means to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety of either outer or inner is a prerequisite for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. Oh Allah, grant us faith and strength in order to face challenges of life. Show us guidance and adjust our path and way to achieve happiness and glory. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you Encik Sobri for the doa. May our program today run smoothly and be blessed by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, insyaAllah. Alright Zul, I have a very simple question for you.
Yes, Kashrina, you have a question for me. So what is your question?
Okay. Have you ever heard about the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, or usually we known as Hcca, regarding the Accelerate program? Or do you know any requirement needed before joining the professional accounting body of Hcca?
I think that is a very interesting question, Kash. Yes, to be honest, I have heard the requirements. I think the requirements needed to join the Hcca. But for today, I'm definitely curious to hear more about it. So since you have a questions for me, I think I have questions for you as well. So my question is, have you ever thought about the emerging issues or the financial accounting and reporting?
I've heard about it a little bit, but now I am more interested in hearing it directly from our two special guests who are here today with us. So allow me to introduce our honorable guests who are here today with us. So the first speaker will be Mr. Peter Gabriel. So he is the Manager of Business Development from Hcca Maritime Southeast Asia. Prior to joining Hcca, Mr. Peter has been in the education industry for about 12 years and mainly managing relationship with the corporate stakeholder. He will be sharing his topic today with us, your journey with Hcca. So good afternoon, Mr. Peter. How do you feel today? To be honest, we are very excited to have you with us today and looking forward for your sharing session regarding your journey with Hcca.
Hi, good afternoon, Cash and Zul. I'm very excited to be able to meet virtually with all the students from not only. I think I was given the understanding not only from KK campus, but we also have participants, audience from other branch campuses as well. Yep.
Yes.
Looking forward
Yes.
to speaking with them shortly.
Glad to know that, Mr. Peter. All right, so I will give you the honor to introduce our second speaker.
All right, so as for our second speaker, we have Mr. Muhammad Salihin bin Osman, Financial Controller at Perbadanan Insurance Deposit Malaysia PIDM. So, hello sir, how are you today?
Alhamdulillah sihat.
Alhamdulillah. So glad to hear that, sir. Allow me to introduce Mr. Muhammad Salihin. He's a fellow member of Association of Chartered Certified Accountants from Hcca. First of all, he is an experienced head of finance with several years working in the financial and government relation industry, skill in business planning, management accounting, treasury and liquidity management, funding arrangements, and corporate financing. Strong accounting professional with proven finance transformation, digitalization, and innovation. He is also a fellow member of Association of Chartered Certified Accountants from Hcca, Master of Business Administration, majoring in General Management from Putra Business School, Diploma in Accountancy from UiTM Jangka Pahang, Certificate in Fundamentals from Association of Corporate Treasurers, Certificate in Digital Innovation for Finance from Hcca. So we are very honored to have you with us for today, and we will look forward for your sharing later on the topic of emerging issues on financial accounting and reporting.
Yes, thank you.
Totally
I'm actually look forward for this session. I'm a UiTM alumni member as well, and this is one of the key moments for my contribution to alma mater. Look forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Salihin. That's quite overwhelmed to hear. We have two outstanding speakers for today. Now, how about we invite Mr. Peter to begin his first sharing session? Mr. Peter, over to you.
Thank you, Cash. Yeah. As per what Mr. Salihin just mentioned earlier, I also would like to claim that I'm also a proud alumni of UiTM. Yeah, I'm also from a product from UiTM Menggatal. Yes. Yep, from back in many years ago. So in here, I can see that some of the lecturer is a no stranger to me. Madam Rosilda, for example, when I was still in the back at the campus, she's already there. Yep, hi, Madam Rosilda. And yes, student, let me begin. Good afternoon, everyone. And good afternoon, I can see here Dr. Siti, hi. And the rest of the other lecturers, and of course to all the students. Now, before that, allow me to share my slides. Yeah, just give me a moment. Do let me know if you can see my slides now.
Yes, sir, we can see your slide. All
right, great. Yeah. Now, students, hope everyone is keeping well and feeling excited as what I'm feeling now. If you are, just give me a thumbs up. Yep. All right. Now let's begin. Now before that, I think to avoid disruptions, shall I just temporarily switch off my cam? Yeah. Okay, never mind. I think I can't find the button. Okay, never mind. Now, Hcca. A little bit about Hcca. Who are we? Yeah, we're actually one of the world's most forward-thinking professional accountancy body. Yeah, we believe that accountancy is vital for economies to grow and prosper, which is why we work all over the world to build the profession and make society fairer and more transparent. Now, these are some of the key salient points that you actually can see through our website. Don't worry, I'm not going into the details because all this information is actually available to our website. So the key things that I would like to highlight here is that where does Hcca currently present? Now, if you look at this slide, by looking at the number of members and students, again, this actually makes us one of the biggest professional body, not only in Malaysia, but globally. Now, in terms of number of officers, we are currently present. We have about 110 officers around the world, one being in Malaysia and our office located in Mid Valley. Yeah. The number of approved employers. Who are these approved employers? They are the one actually your potential employers that you can work with in the future and for you to gain the practical experience later on. Now, globally, we have about over 7,000 plus approved employers. But in Malaysia, we do have close to about 300 employers that currently we are working with. Now, how do you know who are these approved employers? Again, you can always find this information through our Hcca website. Go into the website, under the search button, you type approved employers, get the link, and you just sort under Malaysia, then you can find all the lists in here. Yeah, and we also working closely with about 328 approved learning partners. Approved learning partners means here is that the institutions that currently offering the Hcca qualifications. Yeah, in Malaysia we have about over 20 plus approved employers. Now, in terms of where are we? Hcca coverage. We currently available in about 178 countries around the world. Now, if you probably already Google how many countries in the world, this is around that figures lah, yeah. So we practically covered almost all countries. Yeah. Now, the accountancy professions and landscape. I'm sure I don't really need a further explanation about this number here, which I'm sure you all should now know what the 60,000 is all about. Yeah. So our nation aspired to produce 60,000 qualified accountants by year. Initially, it's 2020, but by looking at the number, we only have about 37,246 as of October 2021. Yeah. So looking at it, we definitely cannot achieve 60,000, and therefore it has been extended to year 2030. Now, students, by looking at this figure, I'm sure you all already, being trained to be a future accountant. You will definitely know what is the indication in here. Yeah, 60,000 that we aspire to have, but we only have about 37,000 plus. So for me, what I can see here is an opportunity. Yeah. So what you guys need to do, just go on and complete your diploma or degree. Then later on, just continue to get your professional qualification, and you're definitely going to contribute into this number. Yeah. Opportunity here refers to not only in referring to the career, but also development progressions, climbing up your corporate ladder, or so on and so on. Yeah. Now, in order for you to become a chartered accountant here in Malaysia, we actually bound by the Accountants Act 1967. What does it mean here? Yeah. So for you to be able to call yourself an accountant, you need to register with MIA. Yeah. So how do you do that? Of course, with the accounting degree, which is UiTM part of it. And of course, another way of doing is through the professional qualification. Now, if you are aware, which is later on, I'm going to explain to you that the current scenario in Malaysia, most employers would prefer someone with professional qualification. So therefore, I would definitely encourage you to go and get your professional qualification in order for you to be, for you to become a chartered accountant in Malaysia. Yeah. So not only you have MIA, you also have a professional qualifications like Hcca. Now, the business qualification for a fast-changing world. Now, the role of the finance professional is constantly changing. Here in Hcca, we are constantly adapting our qualifications, staying relevant to today and anticipating the challenges for the professional of tomorrow. We regularly research the evolving needs of employers to make sure we continue to produce accountants with the knowledge and skill sets to stay at the forefront of the profession and in demand all over the world. Yeah. So with this Hcca qualification, you can choose your career path. meaning to say that if you're looking for an international career, you come to the right place. The Acca qualification is recognized all over the world. It is flexible, giving you the broad base as well as opportunities to specialize. So you can pursue a career you are passionate about almost everywhere. Yeah. And the next thing is that, of course, it will make you stand out to the top employers. When you become an Hcca member, you have a skill set that organizations everywhere are looking for now and in the future. Why? Because we shape our qualification around the needs of employers and the evolving challenges that you are facing in the industry. Now, having the Acca qualification also, you can make an impact. Acca gives you the skills to add value in any environment. The Acca qualification requires practical experiences as well as technical learning. So by the time you qualify, you already have at least 3 years hands-on experience and you know how to leverage your skills to make a difference. And next, by having this Acca qualification, also you can be potentially become a leader. Yeah, you will develop skills and behaviors to lead people, drive decision making, and implement changes. You learn how to get the best out of the new technologies, and you will have an access to the latest insight and a global network of forward-thinking professionals to help you to keep your organization ahead of the curve. Yeah, and of course, also by having this qualification, you prepare for the future. Our world is changing rapidly, and organizations need a finance professional who can help them to adapt, harness new technologies, and look beyond what's possible now. Yeah, studying with Hcca, you will address the big themes in business and finance and how to get the most from them. You will develop an ability to work across geographies, and you will act to the highest professional and ethical standards wherever the future brings you, and you will be ready by then. Yeah, so this is something that you may consider by having an Hcca qualification. Now, the Hcca qualifications. So in this slide, it will tell you what you need to have in order for you to become an Hcca member. So I can highlight here, in order for you to become an Hcca member, you need to go through experience, ethics, and the exam. So I call it 3 E's. Now, first, you have to go through and pass all the exams. There are 13 papers in Hcca. Yeah, 13 papers. Now, if you have a degree from UiTM, you will actually able to claim a maximum of 9 papers exemptions under the applied knowledge and applied skills. So 9 papers going to be exempted for you. So you only have 4 papers left. But some, if you are from diploma, say for example, you completed your diploma and wanted to pursue directly to Hcca. So in here, you will get 4 papers exemptions, 3 from applied knowledge and 1 paper from applied skill, which is taxation. Yeah, so you have to go through another 5 papers in applied skills and another 4 from the strategic professional. Yeah, so Hcca exam structure is purely on exam base, where you need to go through the computer-based exam and need to achieve 50 marks. 50 sahaja. Okay, easy? Okay, I'll leave you to decide on that. Yeah, so 50 marks to pass for Hcca. Now, in terms of exam structure, there will be 4 exams in a year, every quarterly, March, June, September, and December. So it's quite flexible. As a student, you can choose to whichever exam session suit you the best. Yeah, and you are not required to sit all 4 exams in a year. If you think that studying every 3 months will be quite challenging, you can always go for, say, for example, you sit for June exam, and the next session will be in December. You can skip for September. So it's very flexible, right? And what is the timeline to complete all papers? Yeah. So under applied knowledge and applied skills, it's going to be unlimited attempt. So meaning to say that you can actually take your time to take the paper. So I'm not going to ask you to take forever, yeah. So as soon you can try to finish as soon, as fast as you can. then you proceed to the next paper. But however, once you reach into the strategic professional, you only given 7 years time period to complete all 4 papers. So what does it mean by 7 years? 7 years will start counting after you pass the first paper in Acca Strategic Professional. Yeah. So it's not at the point when you register with Acca. So 7 years, what's going to happen after that? You pass 3 papers already and 1 more paper to go, and you keep repeating and repeating up to the 7 years. So whatever papers that you already passed and it's going to exceed 7 years, but you have not completed all 4 papers, then you have to reattempt the paper again that you passed. Yeah. Simply because probably whatever you learned 7 years ago, it might not be practicable, it may not be relevant anymore. So you need to relearn and reattempt the exam. Yeah. But students, trust me, you're not going to take 7 years to complete just 4 papers, right? So give yourself about probably 2 to 3 years to complete all 4 papers. Then you just move on, go and get your practical experience requirement, become member, and just, concentrate on your career, right? So next elements will be the ethics and professional skills module. This is another compulsory requirement. Once you register into the Acca and you'll be able to access your Acca account, then you actually can view this dashboard. Yeah. So I will explain further in my next few slides. And the next one will be experience, the PER, practical experience requirement. In order for you to become an Acca member, you need to fulfill this 36 months of practical experience in accounting and finance related job. Yeah. So again, I have another slide for you to show the entire info on this. Yeah. Now, the exemptions calculator here, it refers to, say for example, if you wanted to know what are the papers that I need to do in my degree, for example, in order for you to get the exemptions, then you can go through this. Yeah. Under the accaglobal.com website, under the search button, you type exemptions calculator, insert all the information. Let's say, for example, you put institution name, put Malaysia, and then you choose the program and the year of your degree completion. Then it will list down all the modules. Yeah, this is just for your information. But I do understand that being a student, diploma in accounting from UiTM and moving on into the degree shouldn't be any issue at all in order for you to claim exemption. Yeah. Now, the exam structure, which is already mentioned earlier, starting from June 2021, yeah, 2 exam sessions in the past, we already started our exam, conducted our exam through computer-based exam. There will be no more paper-based, yeah, meaning to say, whenever you're ready to go for exam, you don't do or answer your exams through paper-based anymore. It's all computerized, yeah. So what's going to happen in the future, if you're ready to take for the exam, register for the paper, you choose your locations, and eventually Acca will assign you to the respective exam center for you to sit for the paper. Yeah, you don't have to bring your laptop, your devices and all, because it's all going to be provided by the exam center itself. Yeah. Now, Epsm, the ethics, which is I mentioned earlier, what is it all about? Our ethics and professional skills module is designed to provide students with a complete range of skills that employers need. Yeah, it will going to prepare students for a career as a trusted and confident finance professional. The interactive online module places students in a realistic business situations where you will eventually develop advanced ethical, professional, and digital skills needed to shine in a workplace. Yeah. So in here, if I may show you the next slide, this is actually how does it look like. Once you registered an Acca student, you can log into your Acca account and you'll be able to view your dashboard. It looks like this. Yeah. The module is made up of 10 units in total. Yeah. Which includes an assessment, which will assess students on what you have learned throughout the module. Students take the end assessment only once they have completed all the previous unit, and you need to pass, yeah, at the end of the assessment. If you fail, you need to reattempt again, and the payment only one time, right? So how does EPSM support you in passing the strategic professional exam? The module helps you to develop the professional skills that you need to demonstrate in your strategic professional exam. It helps you to focus your thinking on real-world work, scenarios, developing your understanding skills on how to approach the challenges presented. This is very similar to the approach you will be required to take a strategic professional exam. Yeah. So therefore, I go back to my earlier slides. There's actually a survey done by ACCA. It says that students who have completed EPSM prior sitting for the paper here are up to 25% more likely to pass the strategic business leader, one of the strategic professional paper. Yeah, SBL paper is a case study. So when you go through the EPSM, all the modules actually prepare you for all the required information or knowledge in order for you to sit for the exam. Now, I often have these questions from the students saying that, what is the structure of this learning? It's actually a combination of, you'll be presented with a video for you to watch, and then there's a reading materials that you need to go read and go through. Yeah, every module, every topic, you'll be presented all this as an online learning. Yeah, and then at the end of it, you just need to answer the questions accordingly. What is the timeline given to you to complete all this? To complete this EPSM, you will be expected to finish approximately about 20 hours to complete all. Yeah. When I say 20 hours, doesn't mean that you have to sit straight 20 hours to complete all. You can start doing it. Say, for example, at one point of time, you have enough of the day. You can always save it and come back anytime and complete the entire module. Yeah. When I say 20 hours, some students also ask, what happens if I finish less than 15 hours or more than 20 hours? No problem at all, because I believe different students, you may have your own speed. Yeah, you probably can complete it earlier, or you will spend between 15 to 20 hours or even more than 20 hours. So I'll leave it to you. No problem at all if you spend less or more than 20 hours. Yeah. And the next part will be the practical experience requirement, which I mentioned earlier. Yeah. As part of your need to become a Hcca member, you must demonstrate relevant skills and experience within a real work environment. So therefore, you need to spend about 3 years, yeah, which is equivalent to 36 months working, and where you need to achieve 9 performance objectives. Yeah. So it must be in accounting and finance related job. Somehow later on, if you're telling me that you're working in HR related or nothing to do with accounting and finance, unfortunately, this cannot be counted into your 3 years working experience. Yeah. So you just make sure everything you do, it must be related. And throughout your 3 years, you need to find a workplace mentor, which the person eventually going to sign off your document in order for you to become an Hcca member. Yeah, the person could be your manager, your supervisor, and so on within the company. And this person must be, having a professional qualification or at least an effect member. Okay, so if you are working with our approved approved employers, there's no issue at all, because all these are quite structured for you when you join that company. All right. Now, what employers want? So this is some things that has been highlighted that employees actually, prefer someone with all these skills. Yeah. Now, employers, not only they're looking on your paper qualifications, but they're also looking for people with a right skill sets. Yeah. In a way saying that right skill sets, which is I've listed here, you need to have a communication skills. Apart from your qualifications, yeah, you need to be someone with forward thinking, a broad skill, and having all these essential skills, which I quite believe that while studying your diploma or degree, because I've gone through the same, you will definitely learn and being prepared with all these skills, yeah? And on top of that, when you embark your journey learning for the professional qualification like Acca, you also are going to learn and be prepared with all these required skills, yeah? Now, Acca careers. This is something quite similar. Probably you're quite, was that familiar with LinkedIn, JobStreet, and many other job portals, yeah? So this is actually, in a way, quite similar. This is how it looks like. You can also refer this to our Acca website, accaglobal.com, yeah? So what happened in here, since this is free for students to explore, I will definitely encourage you all to go and register yourself, yeah? Create your account and being part of it. So at the same time, probably what you can do, go and update, revise your resume, CV, and upload through via your account in here. Who knows, one day, some of our approved employer probably browsing through and they come across your CV and they like what they see. Then they will probably call you for an interview. Yeah. So again, I will definitely encourage you to all go and explore, find out more on these informations, and deposit your CV in here. And also, probably some of you probably aiming to work, aim to work beyond Malaysia, could be in UK, Europe, and so on. Can always, search for the job opportunity accordingly in this platform. Okay, and on top of that, there's actually a lot of learning that can gain from this platform. For example, how to write a good CV, probably information on how to attend online job interview, and so on. Yeah, so feel free to go and explore through this website, right? Okay, this is something new, new development from Acca, the Acca Career Navigator. Yeah, Acca actually aims to help students and our members, yeah, to grow into a senior leadership roles by identifying exactly what capabilities are required at every level and helping you to map your own skill. The tools which I'm showing in here is actually a digital tools. It's actually make it transparent for students and our members on what steps that you need to take in order for you to be given, to give you the competitive edge to achieve the next step in your career path. Yeah. So the digital tools identify the core skills that accountants need to each level of your, preferred career and allow you to be successful in the next decade. Yeah. So, yep. So this is how it looks like. Say, for example, for students, if you are unsure what you want to be, you can always go into this career navigator. Say somehow probably you aim to become a CEO, for example, in the future. So what kind of skills, skills that you need to develop in order for you to be able to become CEO in the future? So this career navigator will be able to help you to identify what are the key learning that you need to have in order for you to achieve your dream job in the future. All right, so feel free to have this. This is also available in our Acca website, accaglobal.com. Now, the key highlight, I would rather say that the highlight of my sharing today, of course, the Acca Accelerate, as what Zul and Cash mentioned earlier. So what is the Acca Accelerate all about? It's actually it's a special arrangement between Acca and the higher education provider. And in this case, we refer to UiTM. So what is this all? What is it for you? You'll be presented with an opportunity to kickstart your journey towards obtaining a professional qualification as early as while you're still doing your degree study. Meaning to say, while doing your degree, you have the options to register with Acca, and with that, you also have the options to start taking the remaining 4 papers. This is only applies to degree students only. Yeah. So probably when you are in your semester 6 onwards, 5, 6 and onwards, you'll be able to register into the ACCA program under the Accelerate program. And with that, you also have the options to start taking the 4 remaining papers. Because the earlier part, the 9 papers, will be you'll be given conditional exemptions. Now, briefly, what happened in the past, in order for you to start doing ACCA, you need to graduate first. Then only you're able to register and do the ACCA exam. But with this ACCA Accelerate program, it's not the case anymore. You can register concurrently with your degree and start taking the papers. Now, what will be the benefits of this program? So here are some of the key benefits. Career opportunities. Now, being an ACCA Accelerate student, ACCA will definitely be in touch with you. We provide you with a platform to connect with employers. So we do have a workshop, webinars where we will invite our approved employers to connect with the students, to give you all the information. What is the career guide for you? Say, for example, you aspire to become auditor or to work in tax or being, what we call that, to be in advisory, for example. So we do have this kind of, session, webinars, where we have our speaker from the industry to speak to the students, our ACCA students, that you will then be able, to ask these employers, what are the things that you need to be aware of, your preparations, and so on. So in a way, it's actually building a bridge to connect you with the employers, your future employers that you can work with, right? Now, exclusive value, this is referring to the discount that to be given to an Accelerate students, instead of paying all the fees in full, being an Accelerate student, you'll be given a huge discount and you will have a huge saving. So again, I will show you the fee structure in my next few slides. Next, get a head start. Again, through this Accelerate program, it gives you the opportunity to take the exam while pursuing your degree, and it's actually going to fast track your ACCA membership. In this case, I will proudly say that we do have quite a number of degree students from public uni, not only from UiTM, from other public universities as well. They actually embark their journey, register with Accelerate program, and start taking the 4 papers. Some of them, quite a number of them, by the time they finish their degree, they also finish or pass all the 4 papers. So I will throw the challenge to you. By all means, if you can do it, do it. Or if not, this is not compulsory for you to complete all 4 papers. Say, for example, once you registered and you only be able to do at least 1 or 2 papers, it's already good enough. And the remaining 2 papers, you can always do it after you complete your degree, also possible. Or alternatively, since I mentioned this is an option, you can always register while you still do degree and you think that degree study is very heavy, it's quite challenging, and to top up with another professional paper, not to worry at all. You always can register, complete your degree, and you can continue even after you have, you graduated from degree and only start doing ACCA, also possible. Again, the keyword is quite flexible, options always to be given to the student. Now, it also enhances your CV. Once you register into the Accelerate program, I know degree students, you were required to perform internship, your latihan industry, for example. So with this, if you already register an Accelerate student, you can always say that you are partially qualified to the ACCA. It will be good if you already passed at least 1 paper, because in the eyes of employers, they will treat you with someone who is actually committed towards completing the professional qualification. So it gives you the head start. Employees will definitely value to what value your CV with the additional information that you have ACCA, registered with ACCA or pass at least 1 paper. All right. Now, membership to the ACCA community, being an ACCA student, you'll be able to network students not only in Malaysia but globally. So you may want to know or probably exchange tips with students who are probably based in UK, Australia, or any other parts of the world. So you always can network with them. Now, this is the fees. In this table, I actually put a comparison. Normal registrations refer to if you register after you completed your degree. Yeah, you don't register under the Accelerate. You wait until you graduate, then only you register under to the Hcca. Whereby the next section will be if you are registering under the Accelerate program. Now take a look of the differences. The initial registration, one-time payment, under Accelerate program, you only have to pay £20 because it's already been discounted. Yeah. Compare with if you wait until you complete degree, then only you register, then you have to pay in full, which costs you about £89. Yeah. Annual subscriptions, the yearly fees that you need to pay under Accelerate program, as long you are still in the degree study, the fee is going to be waived, means you don't have to pay. You only start paying after you completed your degree. For example, if you are graduating your degree in year 2022, so year 2022 fee still waived, and you start paying from year 2023 onwards. Yeah, hope it's clear. And exemption fee for the 9 papers that you have been exempted, though you don't have to sit for the exam, you still have to pay for the exemption fee. Under Accelerate program, you'll be heavily discounted, where you only have to pay £25 per paper. So all in all, for 9 papers, it only costs you £225. Whereby, if you don't register under Accelerate, you wait until you complete your degree, then only you register, then you have to pay in full, which costs you about close to £1,000. Yeah. So if you convert this into ringgit Malaysia, you're probably going to spend more than 5,000 ringgit Malaysia. Yeah. So here, I hope you have done your math, yeah. Whichever, I'm Malaysian, yeah. We always look for the cheapest price. So here, I definitely can tell you, please do consider, take the opportunity to go for the Accelerate program, because there will be a huge saving for you, right? So, exemption fee, under the Accelerate program, you don't have to pay now, yeah. So you'll be given a maximum of 1 year deferment after you completed your degree. Yeah. So meaning to say, at the point when you register under the Accelerate program, you can start, or you can consider sitting for the exam even when you have not paid for your exemption fee, right? So this is the key benefit in terms of financial benefits. Now, fee and charges. Now, reason why I'm showing this is actually to let you guys know, once you register into the Hcca and you're ready to take for the exam. So when you're ready to register for the exam, always observe 3 important dates, yeah, for your exam entry. There will be early, standard, and late entry. Yeah. So for example, once you registered, assuming you have registered now and you want to go for December exam, December 2021. Now, always go for the early entry because the fee is going to be cheaper. But looking at this date, according to my slides, it's already closed, yeah, since 16 August. So the next one available for you is standard entry, which is going to close on the 1st November. If you look at the fees, from early to standard, it's been slightly increased, few pounds, yeah, but never ever go for the late entry. Means you always observe the deadline, yeah. If you miss both early and standard, meaning to say you only have one option, which is late entry, but the fee is going to be extremely expensive. Okay, so please, whenever you're ready to sit for exam, observe the payment deadline. Now, AC study support and resources. On top of the classes that you can get from our approved learning provider, you can always consider to have all these information through our Hcca Global website again. Yeah. So this is how the website looks like. Under the Students tab, go to the Study Support Resources, and you actually can find all this information here. Yeah. So you probably wanted to know what is a syllabus look like? What is the coverage? Or probably you want to know how does the exams look like? Because we have our past year questions and answer here, and even specimen exams. Yeah. And I'm sure when I showed you the what we call that, the 13 papers that you need to pass for the exam, I'm sure all the papers, it doesn't look alien to you, right? Because most of it you probably have, studied or about to study in your diploma degree. Audit, for example, tax. This is something that you will see every day. Yeah. But the thing is that in Acca, probably you will learn a little bit more further, more into details. Yeah. So therefore, if you want to know what it's all about, always go and find out through our syllabus and study guide that we have through these platforms in here. And also, if you're ready to take for the exam and probably you wanted to know what happened in the past exam, we do have a report written by our examiners. They will highlight what actually went wrong during the past exam. So in that case, you will be able to know and won't repeat the same mistake as what students did in the past. Yeah. So feel free to go through the information that I have in here. Now, how do I start? Again, whenever you're ready to start for degree students, when you are moving into, I think Sem 6, Sem 5 onwards, I think, then you'll be able to register into the Accelerate program. Yeah. What happened is that these are the things that you need to know. In order for you to register into the Accelerate program, you must make sure that you have to do it before you complete your degree. To be safe, you register before completing your final semester exam. Only for degree, yeah, diploma. Once you complete your diploma, you move on to the degree, then only you'll be able to register under the Accelerate program. And for the registrations, you just need 2 documents, which is copy of your IC, you scan copy, and get a letter from the institutions. The letter will be provided by Acca, will give to the university for them to have a stamp on it. And what you need to do, you just need to write down your name on the letter and you upload during the registration. Registration is to be done online. Yeah. And of course, the payment you need to prepare, pay either through your credit card or your debit card of the £20 payment, right? So exemption fee, again, you don't have to pay now. You'll be given a maximum of 1 year deferment for the on the payment after you completed your degree, right? Okay, so this is just a summary of what I mentioned earlier. Remember, you need to register before you complete your degree, and the 2 documents that I mentioned earlier, including the payment, to be done either by your credit card or debit card, and exemption fee you don't have to pay now. Right. I did mention registrations to be done online. So again, go to our stglobal.com and you click apply now. Students, you don't have to worry at this point of time, because I'm sure once you are ready to register, I will definitely make an arrangement to have this session again to guide you to register accordingly. Okay, I will definitely guide you step by step what you need to do, what you need to fill up, and how to move from one page to another page, which is always can be arranged when you're ready to register later on, right? Now, just for your info, this is the steps when you're ready to register for the exam. Now, once you register under the Accelerate program, you'll be given an Acca ID for you to be able to log in into your Acca account. We call it My Acca. Yeah. So through your My Acca account, you can actually register for your exam, view your ethics and professional skills module, and so on. So registrations to be done via this platform. Yeah. Again, you need to observe the deadline, and during the exam registration, you need to choose which paper that you need to sit. Of course, you have to indicate on the variant or stream, because all Acca papers that you need to learn is all under international stream, except for tax and law, which follow Malaysian variant. Yeah. Then after you're done and pay for the exam, 2 weeks before the exam, you receive an exam docket. This will indicate which exam center that has been assigned to you. Yeah. So during the exam, just bring the exam docket, bring yourself, and go and sit for the exam, right? And yes, that's about it on the Acca exam registrations. I think that's about it on my Acca sharing about the Accelerate and general info about Acca. And again, on this slide, I'm actually putting up on my contact detail. Should I have not covered some of the, the points that probably you wanted to know, but I didn't cover, you can always stay in touch with me. This is my email address, and this is my contact number. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to snap this page, and otherwise, I will now pass on back to Zul and Cash for the Q&A. All right, so thank you again. Over to you, Cash and Zul.
Thank you, Mr. Peter, for your very informative sharing just now. So I can see that there's a lot of questions from the pre-registration form that we have provided before. And we also have questions from the chat box as well. So let us begin our Q&A session. As for the first question, how can I pursue Hcca after my bachelor in accountancy in other countries such as Dublin? What are the requirements that I need to polish in order for my chances in pursuing in other country is high?
All right. So meaning to say that you are a Malaysian, but you wanted to, consider pursuing your Hcca in other countries like in Dublin, is it?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Now, studying Hcca is actually quite flexible. It doesn't mean that you only can do it here in Malaysia. You can always, probably if you have the opportunity, like you mentioned, you can always go to Dublin or even go to UK to study. Yeah. So yes, of course, one few ways of doing this, you can always register via the Accelerate program, because even you register here in Malaysia, you're already considered as a student. Just go and complete your degree, and later on, just apply to the respective learning center that are available, be it in Dublin or any other parts of the world, in UK, for example, and you'll be accepted. Other than that, what you need to polish or prepare, of course, I mean, by completing your degree, it's already a must. And you're going abroad, right? So one, for sure, you need to polish your soft skills or probably your communication skills and nothing else. In terms of like language, English, everything, I have no doubt to all UiTM students, you are already being trained, yeah? Being one of the UiTM product, I know what you have gone through in terms of all this. Yep, I hope I've answered the question.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. As for the next question we have in the chat box, is there any sponsorship opportunities for Hcca?
Yes. There are actually quite a few sponsorship, especially for UiTM, being a Bumi Putra, right? So in this case, I will definitely encourage you to try to go to the website, search for the information under the sponsorship of MyPAC, MYPAC, and also under the Yayasan Peneraju sponsorship. Because one of the, of course, you know that this is actually specially designed for Bumi Putra. So there's a lot actually, be it after be it for undergraduate, which means that you complete your degree, and if you wish to pursue to Hcca, they do have the sponsorship package for you. And also under Accelerate program, I think they also have package for you to apply. Meaning to say you do your degree and also you'll be able to get the sponsorship to do Hcca at the same time. Yeah. And on top of that, I also know that Mara also provides sponsorship. In the past, they do have, sponsorship for you to go abroad, for example, to go to Dublin or any other parts of the world. But for now, I'm not really sure whether this is still ongoing. So always go to the website to check for the latest info.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Peter. So for the next question is quite lengthy. So it goes like, as we all know, automation and AI are threatening to eliminate several jobs, right? Such as accountants. So accounting tasks like collecting transactions, compiling them into financial statements, and tax return are being handled by IA. For some companies, this might be a good news, but it has also put the accounting professional jobs in danger. So, will the technology change or affect the way a firm handles their business? Will the AI or automation take over the accountant jobs in future? Over to you, Mr. Peter.
All right, I'll try to answer this question as much as I can, or otherwise, I think Mr. Salihin will be able to help me to answer these questions. But what I can assure you, there's nothing can take this profession from you, even AI. Yeah, the profession still remains going to be there. Yeah, AI cannot take over what human can perform. For example, in terms of decision making, for example, yeah. So this one cannot be performed by the machine. So we still need human to have all these tasks to be completed. So what I can assure you, this profession still will be available, remain in the industry. It's not going to be taken at all by the AI. No doubt that some of the tasks, probably, the repetitive tasks, it can be handled by AI. So it make your job as an accountant, accountant job more easier. But other than that, you still have your job in the market, right? So later on, I think Mr. Salihin will be able to help me in the industry perspective to answer this question.
That's a relief to hear. So as for the next question, we have, which one is better, doing Hcca on a full-time or a part-time basis? Is the passing rate high for the part-time basis?
Okay, studying part-time or full-time, I think I'll leave it to your sole decisions, yeah, because we do have part-time, full-time students, and at the end of the day, still passing the paper. But there are few key things that you need to consider, or probably I would like to highlight to you. No doubt that studying full-time will be very convenient to you because the study momentum is still there. For example, at the point when you complete your diploma or degree and eventually straight on moving into this Hcca study, the study momentum is still there. You can actually carry on to study and eventually pass the paper. Whereby, if you wish to do it via part-time, I do understand that probably at that point of time, you already start working as a full-time, yeah, and studying Hcca part-time. So for me, it could be very quite challenging. You have to juggle your time between your full-time job and at the same time, you have to study your Hcca. I've seen a lot of this, yeah, because in my past role, I have to manage students from our clients, mainly from the Big Four. They work as an auditor during weekdays, and weekend they have to attend classes. Now, during audit peak period, I can see half of them will be missing from the classes. So they have to juggle their time. Either, they probably have a tight deadline to do, at the same time, they have to also attend classes and study for the exam, prepare for the exam. So these are the challenges. Yeah. So my advice is that if you able or have the capability of doing it on the full-time basis, probably you can afford to pay the fees, and then you have the ability to do it on the full-time, by all means do it, because the momentum is still going to be there. Just complete everything at once, complete all the exam, and later on, just concentrate on working and get your 3 years working experience. Okay, I hope that's help in deciding for your career undertaking.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Peter. So the next question will be, does introvert person suitable with this career? And what is the main barrier will be faced by this kind of person?
Career. Okay. Again, I think in terms of this, I would really need, because I think Mr. Salihin has gone through all this and probably have managed both probably their staff who is having probably undergoing this qualification. So I will save this question for Mr. Salihin to answer. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So we have plenty questions for you. More, Mr. Salihin, Mr. Peter. Sorry. Is there any additional training or program for a person who wants to work in taxation field?
What do you mean by that? Say, for example, you wanted to embark your career in taxation, and then you are saying that you are required to do any further training. Is that what you mean?
Yes, that is what I mean.
Okay. What I would understand that with your degree and top up with professional qualification is already qualify you to apply job in the respective industry. Yeah, be it in the practice or probably in the commercial. Once you in the job, I'm sure your employers will provide on the job training or ongoing training or even any training available when you are in the job already. So for me, for now, to get the job itself, you don't have to go any specific training. Only when you in the job already, then employers will arrange accordingly to whatever training required for you.
I see. So, what are the skills that do you expect for us to have as fresh graduates when we are entering the company for our career?
Okay. Again, I think this is more suitable for Mrs. Salihin to answer. But for me, just based on my experience, again, be prepared for your future career. Whatever you learn or study or being prepared in the degree is already, I think, preparing you for your future career already. So you need to equip yourself with all the required skill, soft skill, what else? Communication skill, and so on. Yep. But I think nowadays, being in the digital era, everything, all information in your fingertips. Yeah. So you need to be agile, need to be able to adapt to all this. Yeah. Because nowadays you're moving into the digital already. Nothing is like, everything you have to read, anything. So yes, I think the keyword here is being agile. You'll be able to adapt accordingly to the situation.
Okay, I see. So how do I fill up the working experience requirement in the job seeking advertisement when all I did before was just being a student?
Meaning to claim for the 3 years working experience, practical experience?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, once you are registered as an Acca student, like I mentioned earlier, you will be given an ID for you to be able to log in into your own Acca account. Yeah. So you log into your Acca account, there will be one part that you can view all this. We call it PR, practical experience requirement. Somehow, if you already started working or probably you have past experience, you can always start updating that information. Which company you work with, what are the job tasks that you have completed, and so on. Yeah. So this one is available in your My Acca account. And I think I forgot to mention earlier, the 3 years working experience, accumulating the 3 years can be very flexible. Yeah. It can be done probably before or currently or even after you have done or passed the Acca papers. Okay, it's quite flexible. It doesn't mean that you need to complete all exams first, then only you start accumulating. No. If you are currently studying at the same time you're also working, that one also can be counted toward the 3 years working experience.
Okay. So, about your background with the managing relationship with the corporate stakeholders. So can you share a little bit on your experience in how you manage the relationship with the corporate stakeholders, Mr. Peter?
All right. And that's actually happened in my past role with the previous company, where I was attached with one of the leading institutions that offer Acca program. So in my role, I was assigned to actually manage our corporate students, corporate clients, we call it. So I work closely with all these companies, mainly in the Big Four. Now, again, I think this information is good for you. Once you are in the Big Four, be it you are an auditor or in tax department, probably at the point of time, by having degree itself for the company, for the employee is not enough. They still need you to have a professional qualifications. So therefore, this company, they actually sponsor their students to go and get the professional qualification like Hcca. So what's going to happen that they have a group of students, each company easily have about 100 staff that they send to that particular college to study Hcca. So I was the one who managed them. Yeah. So from A to Z, managing them in terms of, reporting, managing, helping them. So this is what I was talking about, managing corporate stakeholders. Yeah. Reporting meaning to say that, it's not to the student itself, to the staff, but it can be up to the director level, because every month you have to present a report on how these people doing. Yep, their progress, everything. So in a way, another thing I come to my mind, communication skills. Yeah. So this actually will the communication skill is a very important, because at the end of the day, when you are actually working, you are not only communicating through your peers, but it could be from your clients or even to the highest people. So students, please practice, build up your skills. I know during your diploma degree, you have all these presentation skills. I know what happened during the time when you're required to sit at the front, your kaki menggigil or nervous, everything. So again, I've gone through that. Take this a platform for you to practice, because eventually later on you are in your career, you're definitely going to apply all this quiet skill.
So when do you think that is the best time to take Hcca?
Okay. Now, since I mentioned that if you are a degree student, you have all these opportunity to register under the Accelerator program. Not only you enjoy the benefits, but you also have the head start. You have the opportunity to start taking the paper while you're still in the degree. Now, if you're planning to do that, you have to register before you complete your degree. All right?
For after that, we have another question. So, what is the Cgpa entry requirement for the Accelerate program?
Okay. In ACCA, we don't have specific requirement. As long you are doing the approved program that has been accredited by ACCA. So in this case, for UiTM, is the degree, the accounting degree. So if you're already doing the program, you're already eligible to register as if you're already in your penultimate or final year of your degree study. Yeah, but the university may impose a certain criteria. Okay, for example, they only allow you to register if your current Cgpa is about 3 pointers, for example. Yeah, so that one I'll leave it to the university. But for ACCA, we don't have specific criteria. As long you're studying the approved program and you are in your penultimate or final year degree, you can register already. Because I know in Salam, they actually specify certain Cgpa, I mean UiTM Salam, yeah, certain Cgpa in order for them to register under the Accelerate program.
So for the Accelerate program, the only main campus is at Puncak Alam, or is there any offer in other campuses as well?
Okay, Accelerate program is actually offered UiTM as in whole. Yeah, it's not only for Puncak Alam, because you also a degree student. Whatever you study also same as what Puncak Alam study. So you also eligible because you carry the accounting degree from UiTM per se. Yeah, it's not that you are studying other program. Yeah, so you guys are eligible, even in campuses also eligible.
Okay, I see. So as for the Hcca qualification applicable to all countries, right? So how about New Zealand and Australia? Because I've heard that there are qualification chartered accountants, Australia, New Zealand. Do they have different regulation in accounting as well?
If you're talking about if they have their own regulation, yes, I would agree that. But somehow, if you're saying that, I think more in the recognitions, right? Whether if I plan to work in Australia or New Zealand, is Hcca recognized? Is that what you are trying to say?
Yeah. Is that is the requirement applicable in to all countries as well?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, Hcca qualification is globally recognized. Yeah, by having an Hcca, you can always work in every part of the world, including Australia and New Zealand. In fact, I do have, Hcca do have an office in Australia, located in Sydney, to manage our students and members in these countries. So no problem at all. Yeah, and just a little bit of also sharing. If you are planning to work abroad, by having Hcca qualification, this is actually a platform or a passport for you to go and work there. I've seen a lot of our, graduates who currently work in Australia. At one point of time, I have the opportunity to visit our HQ office in UK, and we have an event. I actually met quite a lot of Malaysian members who are working over that side. Not to say our neighboring country, Singapore, for example, we do have a lot of Malaysian working over there. So, yeah, if you are planning to do so, this is actually a passport for you to go and work to your preferred countries.
Okay. How about after my degree, I continue my master instead of taking Hcca. So is the master equivalent to master in accounting? As for example, I'm taking master in forensic accounting.
Okay.
So
There are two different things. Yeah. Taking master and professional qualifications will be two different things. Yeah. It cannot be. We cannot like leverage or make it equivalent. Like I'm doing my master in forensic accounting is equivalent to ACA. It's not. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. You probably will study or probably cover certain of the syllabus coverage, but it's not entirely on ACCA syllabus. So you cannot be comparing master and professional. And also you have to ask yourself on what basis you will take this qualification. If you're probably planning to do master and eventually PhD, then it's more on academic value purpose, because probably eventually you become a lecturer. But if you're taking a professional qualification, it could be more on the industry. Yeah. Yep. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Okay, so what impresses you the most when you are considering hiring someone to work in Big Four or any other companies in accounting profession?
Okay, I think again this question should be directed to Mr. Salihin from the industry perspective. Yeah. So, but for me, based on my experience, because I do work with this Big Four. I mean, I don't work with them, but I do help on the job placement. So one of the key things they are looking at, of course, by having the qualification itself is already a must. And of course, you need to be a well-rounded person. You're probably a scorer. You show flying colors in your paper qualification. But other than that, in terms of communication skills, other skills, you don't show that. So definitely, employer is not going to hire you on that. Okay, so it must be balanced.
I see. So next, if I fail in certain papers in Hcca, for an example, it is an audit paper, how many times that a failure that leads me to disqualify?
Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, under the skills and applied knowledge and skills level, it will be unlimited attempt. But for degree students, you don't have to worry about this anymore because the non-paper is going to be exempted to you. Yeah. Under skills and knowledge will be unlimited. It doesn't mean, it doesn't say any limit. But once you reach into the last stage, which is a professional, strategic professional papers, the last 4 papers that you need to pass, then yes, you only given 7 years to complete all 4 papers. Now, it doesn't mean if you fail, after a few attempts, 7 years, you'll be kicked out. Like I mentioned earlier, it will be start counting at the point when you pass the first paper, and somehow you pass 3 papers already and one more paper to go, and you keep repeating and repeating. So what can happen to the 3 papers that you passed earlier? So if it's going to exceed 7 years at the point when you pass, then you need to resit the paper again. Yeah.
Okay, I understood. So I have one last question. So in your opinion, Mr. Peter, what are the top 3 books or articles every student should read into? It can be related to education, management, business development, entrepreneur investment, trading, or anything.
Okay. I think you don't really have to buy all this. I think it's all available online. Yeah. So business magazine will be very, very useful. And if you can't find any, again, in our Acca website, there's a lot of free information that you can find. Okay. In fact, in Acca, we do perform research. Yeah. We call it professional insight, which I feel that this research piece will be very useful to you guys. It will talk a lot about, digital sustainability, which I'm sure it will be related to your degree study. So again, this since this is very, this is easily available and free, how do you can get it? Again, go to our hccaglobal.com website. Under search button, you type professional insight. Yeah, I repeat, professional insight. Then you'll be directed into the page. Then you can refer a lot of articles has been published there based on Hcca research. So feel free to use that.
Thank you, Mr. Peter, for answering all of the questions. So we have come to an end for the first session. So before we move on to the next speaker, I would like to point out that everyone here has the opportunity to join Hcca. So which means that there are many paths that we can choose as long as we know which tracks that fits us, that suits us. And what is the most important thing is we need the spirit in ourselves and also enthusiasm.
Yeah, I think that's right, Kesh, because for me, in whatever we want to choose in our life, or such as our dreams that we want to catch up, the desire and also the efforts, they must move together. So yes, that is a great session, Mr. Peter. Thank you once again. Now let us move on to the second session that will be shared by Mr. Muhammad Salihin. All right, sir, the session is yours now. You may begin.
Thank you very much, Zul Ikram. Ikram. Hang on, I'll just share my slides. Can you guys see my slide?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
sir, we can see.
Okay, let me start. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Roslida Ramli, the coordinator of SWIPE 7. I'm not sure what SWIPE 7 means. Maybe later you guys can let me know. Student leaders, student committee members, my fellow presenter, the Honorable Mr. Peter Gabriel from Hcca, and not to forget our brilliant moderators and MC, Cik Zul Ikram and Cik Kashrina Kahira, right? Okay, interesting topic, and I think a lot of things that I can relate when I see Mr. Peter's presentation just now, and it's really something that I went through during my uni days, and it is something that I would love to be part of. But it's sad that I have to speak on matters relating to work, but this is the challenge. Hold on, let me just check. Can you still see my slides? I'm having a bit of some technical issues. Actually, I used to use Microsoft Teams, not Zoom, but yeah. Hold on. Okay. Again, thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. I sincerely hope you guys are willingly attending this rather than as part of the course program. I was from UiTM Jengka Pahang. I did my diploma in accountancy, and I know the most challenging part was attending a ceramah on a Friday afternoon. You know, after a Friday prayer and a good lunch, you know, the most ideal activities is always a good nap. You know, the reason why we nod off to sleep is so looks like we are empathetically agreeing with everything when we are in a boring meeting or presentation. Anyway, my name is Muhammad Salihin Othman. I'm the Financial Controller of Badan Insurance Deposit Malaysia. Maybe I'll just take this opportunity also to just introduce you guys to PIDM. PIDM is basically a government agency. We are not an insurance company. Maybe a lot of people thought that we are an insurance company, and they struggle to understand what our existence are for. And our role is, again, to administer the both banks and insurance as well as takaful system, and to protect our depositors and owners of our takaful certificates, you know, from member institution failures, public at large, me and you. PIDM is also mandated to provide incentive for sound risk management in the financial system, as well as promoting and contributing stability of overall financial system in Malaysia. In layman term, basically what we do is we protect and guarantee your money in the banks and insurance company. Only when those financial institutions become insolvent or bankrupt, which is most unlikely event, then we will come in and guarantee your deposits in this institution. I think further details we can separately discuss in sessions later. Okay. I like to show this, but I can't see the slides that I'm putting. Maybe I'll just. This is me, by the way. This is me 20 years ago. I was receiving my diploma in accountancy. And this is, if you know this person, we call grandfather. He is Tun Ashad Ayub, and ACCA was known as Anak Cucu Cicit Ashad. That's what ACCA stands for. And I'd just like to share you guys with this picture. When I was on stage, he asked me, when I completed my diploma, he asked me, what are you pursuing? At that point of time, naturally 20 years ago, we didn't have Mr. Peter to brief us about ACCA, what it's all about. And what we got was we wanted to do degree. That was the natural, line of activities that we will go in. And Tun Ashad Ayub asked me, what am I doing? I said that, yeah, maybe degree. But he said, please try and look for professional people. For example, ACCA. Because if you want to become a professional accountant, if you want to become a finance professionals, these are one of the qualifications that you have to go to. And it's not easy. Nobody say it's easy, but it's worth taking the challenge. And I think back then, he made me make a right decision to take up ACCA, and the rest is history. So I'm here to actually look at what are the emerging issues in accounting and and reporting, the financial reporting, past and history. I like to show you guys with this. I'm not sure whether you guys have seen this personal computer. This was back during my time 20 years ago, where a lot of issues back then was learning basics of accounting. I hear a lot about concerns about accounting standards, getting audit experience in order for you to survive in this industry. Also, there's a saying, if you don't have audit experience, you may not excel. Or
Sorry, Mrs. Salihin, to interrupt. Yeah. I think your slide is on. It's not on the presentation mode.
Yeah. Can I request the guys to actually present it? I have some issues with. I just unshare this.
Let us figure that.
Cuba tolong Sob. Sobri, tolong.
Sorry, I have issues with my.
Mr. Salihin, maybe you can click the untick the use presenter view.
Yeah, no, but I have my talking points that I have to look at.
Okay.
So maybe you can share this, and I can just run through with whatever that you have.
Okay.
You have the slide, right?
Salihin, can you hear me? Michelle here.
Yeah.
So your slide static, if you put it on presentation mode, and then there are three dots on the side there where you choose and you can change it to close presenter view.
Yeah, I know, but I do have a talking points that when I project it, everything is there. Everything is on the slides. It's not. I have two different. What do you call this? Two different.
You want to try that? Yeah. So you go to your slideshow. And next to under your slide there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 icons, right? So under right now on the view, you can see 3 dots in a circle under the slide on your screen now.
Okay, can we start? I think I got it. Sort of like got it now. You can see the slides, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for thinking. Basically, I have not looked at the Zooms. Okay. Anyway, what basically what we had back then was issues is not really the concerns of what we have now. And back then, again, the process that we have was the key items that we have trouble with. Those information I think basically was useful back then, but we are all struggling in memorizing the accounting standards. I'm not sure whether the education currently requires you to memorize accounting standards, these kind of things, because those things are just within the taps of your hand now. You can just Google it. You have your smartphones. Last time we don't have those kind of things. We have to memorize the accounting standards, the treatment of all these things, and whatever information that we are looking at is not that mobile. So the issues emerged back then for almost 2 decades are relatively basically of this. It's all, if you can see these are the issues back then. We struggle to look at the context of overall finance role. And because finance is not just skewed to certain things, it's actually of everything under the ambit of dollar and cents. So whatever that have a dollar and cent impact, you have to know, basically. That is given thing lah. So in order for you to go up further in any organization, anything that got to do with dollar and cents, you need to know. So like what I think Gabriel mentioned just now, certain areas relating to even HR that has an impact to dollar and cents, you may need to know basically to support them as well, because these are the things that, like for example, tax regulations that impact the salaries, the remuneration. So these are the things that we advise them and we help them with. But those items, last time, the data, the information scattered. So it's quite difficult to connect and to integrate with all these units or these departments. And people tend to forget that the custodian of this dollar and cents finance, the accounts department. So these are the gatekeepers. We are like in a football field, we are like goalkeepers. So we manage all the necessary before it gets kicked out or before it gets out of the corporation. So this was the issue. And when we studied last time, we need to be able to understand and grasp all this kind of knowledge, which is very, I must say, it's very challenging. It was a complex process and a lot of manual financial process I'll just like to share you guys. When I started my working days back in 2004. That was my first job. Back then, you know, there's so many things that I was told last time that before I graduate, people ask me to understand or master Excel, Microsoft Excel. That was the main so-called system that you need to master with lah. And until now, we're still using Excel for our personal use and also some verification. You know, even though we have systems that things, that's very useful. People ask me, you know, what kind of personnel that you look at. That's one of the key items. Fresh graduates, you need to be good in Excel so that, you know, you'll become more agile in terms of what needs to be done. But that was 20 years ago. It was necessary. This time around, maybe, but 50-50. I will share with you guys later on the context of what the process is all about. And the manual financial process that we get, I'd just like to share also, up to the extent that the auditors drive us. Like, for example, they wanted to check certain things, right? They impose certain criteria or certain rules that, you know, you have to meet this and that. And if you say you don't get that, then your financials are not accurately, can be read or can be assessed and can be used for. So I had that problem in terms of issues. The reason why I wanted to share you guys on the previous issues as compared to whatever is happening after is to make sure you guys understand and appreciate what are the things that is coming in coming years. This is just again the financial period. Last time when we close our accounts, like for example by month end, you need to deliver the accounts at a certain period. But it's all about timing again. By the time you close your accounts, it's already a new period of accounts that you need to do. So over and over again, it's always a time chase, and you're delivering something that is not no longer useful when you pass the timeline. So that is always a struggle, and we try to look at certain areas that we can improve the process. That's one of the key items that we'll share. And this is the mother of all. I think basically when you look at the accounts last time, and this is the reports that we had. I think not in my years. This is maybe 50 years ago, how accountants reports their financials. And over time, they have evolved. We have simplified the accounts and we have simplified the methods that people can read and people can appreciate too. I think that is very key for students to know and for students to grab what are the things that you need to study besides then whatever that you guys have studied in university. So having said that, whatever that we had last time was not really what I call this digitalized or simplified process. That's my context. And in order for you to be in this position or as an accountant, as a profession, you need to visualize on how can you make things better in terms of managing financials. And one of the key aspects that most people ask me of what makes a financial report valuable. Again, the question that you need to ask is, you need to know who are your readers first and foremost, and what are the readers want. Of course, in any organization, they have the statutory reporting that we have, like annual reports. We have a specific accounting standards that you have to follow. That is given. But beyond than that, what are the management requirements for you to actually do? So normally, sometimes they don't require like this a specific standard kind of things which they cannot appreciate. So they will look at areas that they can understand. Number one, they interested, or they will make them much more aligned to whatever that you're reporting. So here, what I do is basically we look at from time to time we look at what can we do in order for us to give them a much more valuable presentation of accounts.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. Could we share the screen so that you can refer your notes while presenting? Kashrina will share her screen.
You cannot see my screen now?
Because the slides, maybe you want to, because there is the slides.
Salihin, what they're trying to say is that they will help you to share the slides and control. I'll probably move next when it's needed, and you can actually refer to your own slides because you need the talking point, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think I got the slides already on. Are you looking at the cloud computing now already?
Because it's now it's showing that only half of it. And then,
I see. Okay.
Right, Cash, you can share the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
View cache view. Full screen mode. Bawah.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes.
So we can start to the okay, go to the next slide. Okay, with all this information that I've given, I think basically with regards to the emerged issues back then, I think now we can talk about what are the emerging issues in financial accounting reporting, that means in the future. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I think you guys have heard about this, the cloud computing. Why did I say cloud computing? You know, more and more the cloud technologies have been growing rapidly in the recent past, and it has been widely adopted by many industries, including accounting. And people ask why do we want to adopt in cloud technology? Because you know the cloud technology, the application run on servers. So by using a cloud accounting, it will enable businesses to access their accounting or any other data online whenever, wherever the information is required. So I think that is the context that we are looking at. You know, it's actually accessible anywhere. For example, now when you look at what's happening now, most of us have been working from home, as well as you guys. I think you guys have been going to class from your own home. So for us to have that accessibility is very key. Otherwise, you know, we will not be operational, and that is disaster. But by having this kind of things, this kind of arrangement, we are able to work anywhere. We can have access to our accounting system. We can do transactions. We can do financial reporting. We can do a lot of things that the management wants to see. They can have the data, these kind of things that requires the accessibility. Apart from convenience, businesses find this cloud computing software is very cheap and extremely user-friendly. Again, because if let's say you were to have one particular system which is not accessible, you are spending more when you work at one particular areas and it's not accessible to other places, then you get a lot of setting up infrastructure, this kind of things. It's very difficult. So as the demand, connectivity, and strong customer services increases, more businesses or different sizes are starting to switch to cloud accounting. Software such as QuickBooks or Xero, these are the things that are available in the market. Maybe you guys can look at this more further. I just like to touch a bit on cloud computing. Next slide. Next slide on the issues that we have is always financial process automation. Of course, more and more accountants and financial professionals, they are demanding us to automate and simplify our processes. And this is a major trend in disruption of accounting, rapid adoption, automation, and disappearance of manual processes. Like I mentioned just now earlier, we want to minimize or possibly eliminate a lot of manual processes. With the advent of automation, electronic documents and state-of-the-art software solutions, many companies are now able to eliminate this manual data entry process. Maybe you guys wondering what kind of manual data entry processes. Manual data entry processes like when you want to do like, for example, claims. I will give a very simple example. I want to do claims. Last time, right, you have to fill in the form. You need to attach your manual or hard copy supporting documents. You send to finance. They will sign on hard copy. They will chop it, and then they will send you. Okay, give us your accounting, your accounts details. They will send you a check, not transfer. Last time we don't have transfer. You send check. You need to cash your check, and these are the process that we have eliminated. By way of, we just have to go in the system, log in, attach your documents online. You don't have to send your manual or hard copy supporting documents. Immediately you get approved in the system. No need to sign. You just click approve. Your approval just approve it, and then immediately you will transfer the money to your bank account. So by then you just have a notification your money is in the account. So these are the things that we want to improve the automation. At the same time, we want to make sure that the controls regarding the transactions are being monitored and the system are able to do just that. So ultimately, this will translate in faster processing time, more timely data, less human error, and significant cost reduction for the company. Okay, next slide. This is one of the key items that we have a rapid rise on data analytics demand. The development of data analytics means that more valuable insights can be derived from this existing data in business. So a lot of people are talking about data. Data is the king now. So I'm not saying that the money has gone to queen level, but data is one of the things that people are willingly to pay. They are willing to pay a lot of money to get data. So when we say data, a lot of companies are dealing with huge number of data, and it's humongous, and the opportunities in managing data is very huge. That's why you need analytics. These analytics are able to see trends, to help you do budgeting, forecast, a lot of things that you can do, because like for example, people are spending a lot of traveling expenses during school holidays. So you will skew a lot of resources towards that particular period, because you know that there's so many activities are doing that. Those are the data information that you will tend to look at. With the intelligence of application of data analytics, management now can potentially have even deeper and greater insights of their own businesses. Because finance people, when they look at financial data, they are able to advise the management on how to strategize things. And this is very key. Okay, for example, analytical tools now can help identify and analyze underlying risks and understand business trend and perform scenario testing. So you can do a lot of simulation numbers, you can do simulate activities that you can do and what are the impact to your financials. So these are the things that will be of a good value to the management, not just merely reporting the historical issues. Like for example, what we are doing, like macam balance sheet, income statement, you are just reporting a historical issues which doesn't really give a lot of adding value. So these are the things that you need to look at. So machines and technology, the question now, so will machines and technology make the role of an accountant obsolete in the future? I think one of the key questions that you guys asked just now to Mr. Peter, it's always yes and no. Because in future, technology will probably take away some manual data entry processes done by accounting clerks. Okay, so hence why I want you guys, students or any fresh graduate later on, you guys have to look at adding values of whatever the work that has been done. So all those manual data entry, you may you may let go of that context. You have to look at analyzing numbers more, so that those are the basic things that when you come in, those are the basic things that a lot of employers will look at. And in place, accountants will be expected to deliver more for their clients by collaborating with machines and technology to provide again more fruitful insights about business through data analytics. Yes, okay, so next slide. Okay, if you look at latest technology industry trend, there's so many things, there's so many technology out there, and one of it is the cloud accounting software. We can actually build tailor-made packages that suits our needs. Okay, we no longer need to depend on one accounting packages which offer complete solutions to financial management. Instead, now, because the complete solution for financial management may be expensive. Sometimes you don't require the whole lot of financial management to do whatever that you need. So instead, you may need some features. You can create personalized solutions just by adding some different applications to generate custom-made solutions to suit your requirements. So one key words that Mr. Peter mentioned just now, very interesting. Agile. That is very true. Now, in any organization, number one, of course, they will always love to hear saving costs. So in order for you to deliver your work with minimal resources but high impact deliverables is being agile. So that means you know what are the things required, and just about the best suit for your organization, and you are able to show the cost saving or the big impact that you can give to the corporation. That will make you a better accountant or better finance professionals. Later on, I will deliberate that further. Okay, moreover, the shift to the cloud has basically resulted in an increase in emphasis on the automation of workflows. Like I mentioned just now earlier, the workflows we try to automate and reduce, in between activities, so that we have timely reporting later on. And this improvement in software will automatically turns your numbers into data, handles your big bookkeeping, provides you with all the kind of data that you need in real time. Last time kita tengok when we close our accounts, when my boss said, okay, can I have the numbers now? I said, we have to wait 15 days for us to churn out the numbers. They don't have that now. They don't have that time. They don't have 15 days to wait until you come up with your accounts. Our accounts are real time now. They are able to see what is the performance of the company real time. They just look at our finances. They know, okay, this is the amount of money that we have, and this is how much sales that we are making, and this is how much cost that we are actually spending. So these are the things that helps us to alleviate a lot of manual process. One of the other key items, maybe next slide. One of the key items I also like to share is RPA. This is one robotic process automation that currently me and my team in PIDM, finance team specifically, are looking at, because we know that robotic process is like a staff. It's like you have a robot team members. So we give this robot to do all these manual entries. That will alleviate my team members' time to do all the data entry to another better things to do, right? Like for example, analysis bit. But first of all, it's a lot of things that we need to do. We need to identify what kind of activities can be transferred to a robot. Of course, we need to train this robot. But this robot, normally they don't take annual leave. They don't call sick. So they can do 24 hours working. So I think that's a very good for any employers to have. But at the same time, it's not saying that our accountants rule are eliminated by that. It's just that we need to train these people, and we need to tell these robots what needs to be done. And the role of an accountant is still there. It's just that we are giving much more mundane job to a robot, but more valuable effort from an accountant itself. Okay, next, I think next slide. I think this is the next slide is the main thing. All this I just mentioned just now, all are the good points that we have now that we can explore. But this is one of the things that maybe hold us back, is the cybersecurity threat. I'm sure you guys have known a lot of things that, like scammers, they send a lot of false things, fraudulent things, in order for them to get money out of you, or getting data out of you. But this is a real thing, and this is the things that a lot of organizations are struggling with. But these malicious threat actors are taking advantage as organization try to reconfigure the vulnerability supply chains, because again, it's a process that you have from one end to another. So the supply chains may have issues on cybersecurity threats, because we have gone into digital. Last time, I think issues in organization, they have put security officers just to make sure that then there's no people coming in office, stealing monies. We have petty cash, like for example, a petty cash box that people can take that. We don't have that anymore. We don't need to hold cash in our office. All cash are stored somewhere else, safe. So now it's all about securing our data and to be mindful of the security threats. Number one is to look at the 6 threats that I think that I've listed down. Is the supply chains cybersecurity threat, which introduce interconnected attack surfaces. A lot of financial institutions have complex interdependent supply chains. These offer a broad target-rich attack surface. Basically, attackers would love to threat up to get into these lines, so that they can get a lot of information, and they can sort of like put this organization at ransom, because they have all the data. And then at the same time, the credential and identity theft. Like for example, someone is taking the role of your boss even. Like for example, your boss will email to you saying that, okay, I need this information, I need money to be transferred to the account. But in actual fact, your boss never asked that. But you didn't catch that thing. You do as what the boss are saying. So you transfer. Those are the things that cause a lot of issues. And at organization standpoint, we believe that anything that needs to be transferred needs to go through a proper process, which is in the system or something, so that we can track. There's audit trails and these kind of things. So again, these are the things that you guys need to be aware of. A lot of data theft, data manipulation. They go into your system, they change a lot of the context, and it becomes a disaster when you want to produce your financials. But of course, this would get our IT guys to help out to make sure that our data are secured. Emerging technologies, especially deepfakes and 5G and advanced cyber threats. The technological rapidly advances. Cyber defenders, we are exploring means of using cutting-edge tools. In particular, these malicious actors recently used deepfake to increase the effectiveness of their campaigns. So basically, that the 5Gs is coming. The opportunities of 5Gs in financial services actually presents risks, including those risks by the governments, including supply chain threats, software vulnerabilities, organized cybercrime. So these are the things that we have to look at. Okay, so I think this cybersecurity is real thing that if let's say I were to explain this is very huge, and a lot of technicalities. Certain things like this, finance professional needs to learn. You cannot say that this is IT things I don't need to know. You need to know because it's affecting your data. But maybe not into details, but at least in the surface, that you understand and you know the threats so that you can maneuver the activities in your financial area. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is what I wanted to really elaborate closely. This is what is expected for accountants, or what do you call this, finance professional in the future. We want to transform accountants into consultant or business partner. Other than, you know, changes in software and technology, we want to change the traditional practices, like what they expect from an accountant as a bookkeeper. Instead of bookkeeper, we want to make sure that accountants are seen to become as business partner or finance professional. For example, traditionally, I think you might be used to, you know, billing and fixed hourly basis. But today, we are seeing more practitioners switching to a new model. It's called value pricing model, to charge their clients. Basically, in value pricing, the maximum amount of that client has to pay for a project is agreed upfront. What this means that the clients get price certainty upfront. At the same time, it rewards the accountant of how efficient is his work. Okay, this change also means that accountants are rewarded not just by the number of hours they clock, but also the productivity and real value that they can bring to management or the clients. So with that particular note, I think basically being a partner or business advisor, it requires accountants and finance professionals to shift from traditional role to added value function and qualities. For example, number one, clear understanding of requirement of the business. Now, one of the questions just now, what are the expected things from accountants? Again, you need to understand the business. You don't expect like macam you masuk this finance department, I just need to know accounting standard and accounting treatment. It's always best to know the business. Like for example, when I started to join, when I started my career, I joined insurance company. After the insurance company, I joined oil and gas company, and then I joined the construction company, and then I joined a statutory body. It's a government relation, which entirely the business is different and the requirements are different. In order for you to do meaningful financial reports, you need to know the business. Okay, so when you know the business, you know what to report, what financial data does the company needs. So that is very key. Okay, next is close to the business that is in operation. You have to understand the sales, the marketing, the supply chain, production, to be a key effective finance professional, to ensure, you know, confident and proactive support to these areas of businesses, because you're not supporting only the accounts, you're supporting other divisions in the whole corporation. You know, finance professionals have a natural interest in business, and naturally finance professionals have high levels of credibility. That's very key. You know, people look at you as someone who has the credibility to and a trusted person to handle their money. So whenever you say whatever that you advise will somehow be very strong enough for them to take on, to make decisions based on. So very important for us to have that. And the next quality that I think very key, which also Mr. Peter just mentioned, I think the communication skills, which is of the soft skills. You know, although finance professional has all the core accounting financial skill, they are not your typical accountant lah. Basically, you know, people say accountants are square people. That's why I think Hcca have this square logo, you know, commensurate with the squareness of accountants. But moving forward, that's not what we want from accountants. We require accountants or finance professional to be a good business partner who can articulate issues, can articulate ideas, can articulate financial matters, problems, and these communication skills are very essential to ensure that we present financial data and decision making effectively to especially non-financial people. That's very key, because you want to explain finance to another colleague of finance, that's okay. But when you want to explain financial matters to non-financial people, that's the most challenging part, and you have to take on that. Okay, so this effective board members, they have a lot of backgrounds. You need to listen, interpret what are the issues, and immediately address the financial issues that they are highlighting. And next quality that, again, what we are looking at, of course, adding value to improve the performance and focus on continuous improvement. Looking at what is the overall context of the business that we can do, and to be able to look forward 5 years down the road, what kind of issues that you are looking at, what kind of technology that you're looking at, what kind of business risks that your business are going through. So, like for example, during this pandemic, you know, my organization, we have a lot of sessions discussing about what are the ongoing businesses, or whether our business models are relevant in the coming future. So those are the things that numbers financial professionals can assist with, because they have the data, they have facts, and they can do all the analysis to support the reports. So I think with that, maybe next slide, come into the conclusion bit. Again, I think interesting. How do I look at the profession itself? Accountants and you know, business professionals. I say that financial professionals, we are always how to say, relevant. For as long as there is company, company needs accountants, regardless what are the requirements moving forward. But we are there with the technical abilities to understand finance and accounting. So you guys are in the right profession. I have to assure you guys. It's just that how you bring and how you show your value proposition is very important. And bear in mind, once you join in when you work, no matter what your scores are, no matter how excel you're in your studies, come in work environment as zero. That means you are coming in as much as you want to start learning when you start your university days. So those are the attitude that I think will bring value, will really add a lot of you know, again, value to the organization, and be mindful of whatever changes that you know, be agile, be flexible to adapt to a lot of changes in coming years. With that, I end my presentation. I pass back to Encik Zul.
Thank you, sir, for the great and interesting talk. So after the talk, I think that the audience, they got a grasp of the emerging issues that have been happening in the finance, in the accounting, in the finance and accounting industry.
That is quite right, Zul. So
Yes.
currently I'm pursuing a degree in accounting, right? So I definitely gained some benefits from the talk by Mr. Salihin.
Yeah, that's right, Cash. I think because our audience got a better grasp about it, so there are a few questions from them that I can see in the chat box. So let us move to the Q&A session. So the first question is, all right, in the cloud accounting, does it mean only the personnel in the organization can access to it, or the outsider can access it, or perhaps they can use username or password to access it? Means the restriction of the cloud accounting.
Okay, I think cloud computing or cloud accounting, basically accounts, they have access. I mean, even if you're not in cloud computing at this current juncture, you have certain you can set up certain restrictions, like for example user ID, and that is actually more related to our IT guys when they put in controls wherever that you are. So during this pandemic, really helped us to understand the cloud computing concept itself, because again, you can have access to anywhere. I mean, anywhere you're at home, even if let's say you're in Langkawi, you're in Sabah, doesn't matter. I can have access to my system and I can do all the transactions by then. But of course, it's controlled by user access, user ID, and it's actually secured. It's a secure platform. But certain cloud functionalities, they are able to be shared with other outside parties. But that one is the rule that you are setting lah. If let's say, like for example, we want to be audited by auditors, so we can share that by giving them the user access and user ID and some the address, the linked addresses. They can have access, but with limited rule. For example, they cannot do transactions. They just can view the transaction. These are the things that we can put in. So that's not an issue. We have done that with multiple, a lot of accounting softwares, as well as just to share with you guys also, like for example, in our organization, we have a few systems. For example, we have investment system on its own. We have a system that looks after the human capital, that looks after the salaries and these kind of things. We have also the training system, but it all integrated with this accounting system, which very seamless. We don't have to key in again. Data flow in, we just do the transaction, and we have a real-time reporting. I hope I answered that kind of question.
Yeah, I think that is clear because perhaps they can access, but there will be some limitations in accessing it. All right.
Yeah.
So the second question is, since we are facing COVID right now, existing norms of social distancing and lockdown have thrown the challenge of providing virtual accounting service ahead of the accounting business. So how does some companies need to consult with their clients through virtually? How about the documents that are needed to check? And meaning to say how we conduct the virtual appointment with the clients.
Okay, I think during the lockdown, I think the most recent one, I think lockdown, we are 100% working from home. Actually, today is just the day that I came in to face one of the key areas because of my internet connections at home not really good. So I'm in office, but because of, again, the lockdown has been uplifted, and that's the reason why we're in office. But having said that, yes, we have been doing meetings like through Microsoft Teams, through WebEx, and we shared documents. But of course, there is we classified the data. Most of our data, like for example, our auditors last year, we did our year-end audit through about 80% of audit done online. So we give access to our portal, they can access to it, and then we review together with them through online. So basically, like this, we open the Excel sheet. Okay, these are the workings, and they have access to our accounting system where all the transaction base are there. They have the role of review. They can download all these data. It can even print at their site. So those are the things that help. And one more thing, I just like to also promote. MIA has already launched the e-bank confirmation. Last time, right? E-bank confirmation, we have to send to the process manual lah. We kena hantar surat to bank and then ask the bank to send the mail directly to our auditors to confirm the bank balances. So now we don't have to do that. It's a e-bank confirmation. We just upload these are our bank accounts. Immediately the transaction will be pushed to our auditors. They get real information immediately, almost instantaneously. Otherwise, they may have to wait for weeks, months maybe, because the banks will be dealing with a lot of transaction manually. It's quite huge. So we are moving towards that. So there's no issue of us virtually now, I must say, because everything is online and we have all the data ready.
Right. So about the e-bank confirmation, does it take too long time to complete the process compared to the physical meets previously?
Okay. What I meant by the e-bank confirmation is like from the bank, because the bank, they do reconciliation almost every day, basically every day basically. So bank confirmation normally is on a month-end basis. So last time when we want to do month-end closing, the bank reconciliation has to wait. Like, for example, you're closing the accounts on 30th June, for example. So maybe it will take 1 week to get that information. Now you don't have to wait. It's like 30th June. Tomorrow you know the balances already. And if let's say you're auditing it, auditing process, 1 week, normally you can just give the e-bank confirmation. The auditors, if let's say they log into the system, immediately they know what are the balances. These are the third-party confirmation, by the way, because this is not the things that we have, because normally auditors want third-party confirmation. So these are the arrangements that we did, and we don't even have to email or having this discussion. We let the system tells them what are the things.
I think it's clear. So because it might help the auditor to ease their job in obtaining the confirmation. All right. So the next question. With the virtual accounting service set up, the traditional rule-based accounting skills are not anymore sufficient. Today, it is becoming a challenge for accounting firms to find competent employees with technical and accounting knowledge. So what factors do you use when employing someone to work in this technological era? Right.
Okay, I think
about the recruitment,
recruitment lah. I think okay. Number one, of course lah. I think the basis of qualification is very important, and I think that is fundamental. Those are the things that I think fundamentals of what minimum requirements where you want to join any company. But of course, the things that stood up or stand out as compared to other candidates, if I say I were to interview graduates or fresh graduates to join, is the number one is always the communication. Of course, I think when you want to articulate your point, that is very key, and you must be able to know your fundamentals. But I don't expect you to memorize accounting standards, because that was way 20 years ago. I don't require that. I know that you can just quickly look at your phone and say that, okay, what's the treatment for this particular sections or whatsoever. Number two is the critical thinking. That's very key, because those are the questions that I said when I give issues. I give a problem. What do you do? I want to see what kind of person are you? Are you resourceful enough to get this information? Are you able to tell me that, okay, if I'm into this particular situation, I can refer to this. Because if let's say you say I don't remember, I don't expect you to memorize. I want to know where are you able to get this information? Because when you know where to get those information, I know you can do it. So that's very key. I think those traditional accountants and future accountants, these are the things that you need to look at, and you must be critical enough to challenge a lot of processes. For example, in interview, I give you also tips. I would love to hear I would love to hear people asking me my finance process and what I have changed, transforming the process, and maybe ask me questions on why am I doing this? What does it conveys to? So those are the critical thinking that people will love here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about other, but that's definitely thing that I look for, and these are the people that stands out from other candidates lah.
Correct. Perhaps the technologies keep evolving. So in terms of the recruitment, because I heard that nowadays even the HR they are recruiting person by scanning the resume based on the computer, not by the human. So let us move to the next question. I think this is quite interesting question. It is about Islamic fintech, if I'm not mistaken, financial technology in Islamic. So what is your opinion about the Islamic fintech in our country? Do we have to implement it in this country? And if it is already implemented in Malaysia, how far is the process of the Islamic fintech?
Okay. I think for Islamic financial, right? Basically, it's actually more relevant. I think basically it's more or less the same with whatever that we have conventional. But for example, in PIDM itself, we are managing 6 funds. 6 funds consist of our conventional banks, our Islamic bank, our general insurance, as well as our takaful. So how we manage this is under one platform. It's not like we have a separate Islamic system and we have a conventional accounting system. We don't. But having said that, I think the understanding of the products, the context of the fintech of it is always, again, the product. If let's say you don't understand the product, you cannot treat. Okay, so I think the next question is the accounting standards that address Islamic financial products. So those are the things that you need to understand and how to report it. So by way of that, I may want to also relate to financial instruments relating to Islamic financials. And for example, sukuk, if you were to invest in sukuk, and what kind of sukuk that you have. But again, it's all in one context. The system are able now to address any one of all these issues. You just have to tell them, okay, what are the products are, and what are the issues, and how do we want to treat. Maybe I would like to just go back. Maybe I'm not sure whether this is related to this. I always follow 4 fundamentals of accounting, which I think relates to everything. Number 1 is the recognition. Number 2 is measurement. Number 3, presentation and disclosure. This all forms part of whatever financial reports that you do. Okay. When I say recognition, whether you can recognize or not certain transaction, what needs to be done in order for you to recognize that particular transaction, and then how do you measure it? How do you actually put in that numbers, whether fair value, this kind of things lah. And then how do you present it in the financial statements, and then how you disclose it. So if let's say you're relating it to the financial technologies or whatsoever, be it conventional or Islamic, you chart in that manner, you design in that manner, and then you present in that manner. So these are the things that I think are relevant to this context.
So meaning to say that, for an example, Islamic finance is one of the products, and conventional finance is one of the products. But we should distinguish it, isn't it, sir?
Yes. Like for example, in our side, we don't commingle these funds. We manage it accordingly, but in under one system. But of course, there are some controls that we do in order for us to this. And at any level, I'm not a Islamic finance expert, but we do consult our Sharia team. We also touch base a lot of issues. Let's say, for example, whether the contract is permissible under Islamic financial rules. These are the things that we always do. So it's not a matter for us to, again, like I said, you don't have to be expert in everything. You must be resourceful enough to know who's who that you need to contact or you need to liaise with. And if you're able to do just that, then that should suffice.
Okay. We have the next question is, what is your opinion about the cryptocurrency? Is it safe for us to invest? Yeah, the topic about cryptocurrency.
Okay. Cryptocurrency, if you look at, I studied this lah. I think one of the key certificate that I got early this year is certificate in digital innovation. I think in collaboration with Hcca. It's a very good learning for me. Initially, we know that cryptocurrency is not regulated yet in Malaysia. Bank Negara has not come up with any regulation for cryptocurrency, but it's coming. Like it or not, these things are coming. And a lot of things that we are looking at, I think, on how do we recognize, because this cryptocurrency is volatile. It's like you're doing forex transactions kind of thing. So something that we can relate to. It's not the same, but something near that we can actually relate to. But I'm concerned because it's not regulated. As a regulator standpoint, if you ask me, I don't encourage you guys to look at that lah. But as a professional, as an accountant, those things are coming. You need to know, you need to understand the issues. It says, as a regulator, I don't encourage you to invest those things. But as a financial professional, you need to learn and you need to know. Because by the time that comes regulated, I don't want you guys to be left behind on the context of cryptocurrency and these kind of things. But having said that, it's very interesting. Maybe I'd just like to share my understanding on the cryptocurrency. The potential impact is the valuation. We have the MFRS 9 where you do the loss provisioning aspects of it. I must say that it's quite difficult because the loss provisioning is looking at the market value, these kind of things. I'm not sure what kind of market that we are looking at, what kind of market that we can benchmark the value of that cryptocurrency. So interesting. I have not gone through that, to be honest with you. I have not really 100% deep dive on that area, but I will love. That's one of the key areas. I'm still learning. I'm not that old. I'm still young. I still have engine for me to actually learn all these things. Yeah, maybe one of these days we can invite. I think you guys can invite somebody who's expert in this cryptocurrency. I would really suggest you guys look at this as a topic itself, not just merely, kalau I cakap, I just talk in general. I'm not an expert. So by all means, get all this information. Jangan tanya pasal accounting standard lagi semua. This one all you can read in the books. These are the things that you want to hear, rather than listening to me lah.
Maybe there is no exact regulations in Malaysia about the cryptocurrency, right? But I think by the meantime, we are waiting for the cryptocurrency to be regulated in Malaysia. We have to get ready because, like you said, there will be a regulation in the future, perhaps. So the next question is, I think it is related with from the previous question. It is about investment also. So the question is like this: if we involve in purchasing gold, is it better for the long-term investment or short-term investment?
You're involving in what kind of investment again?
Perhaps this person is asking about the gold.
Gold. Oh, it's
Gold.
in emas.
Emas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally, I don't invest in gold. It's nothing against it. It's something that again, you're playing with values, and maybe the context of investing itself. If let's say you are in, what's your investment mandate? What is your investment objective? If let's say you're looking something that is liquid in the future, that you want to be able to have access to your investment immediately, liquidity is an issue. So gold is not one of it lah, because sometimes when you want to liquidate your assets or your investment, the goal may be some form of it may take time, and the value may not be right at that point of time. Instead of investing a lot of if let's say FD pun lah, kalau macam you invest in fixed deposit, once you invested in FD, if you want to recall back beyond below the time specified, you will get haircuts. Like for example, you get low value of the whatever that you will principally put. So for me, for us in PIDM, our liquidity is very key, very important, because our mandate again is our mandate. Because if let's say there is a financial institution failing, they need money, we have to liquidate the assets. So one of the key items that we are looking at is the most secured ones lah. But of course, like I said, low risk, low return, high risk, high return. So what is your risk appetite? That one is very key. For me to invest in gold, it's volatile. That means it's so-called a medium risk lah, because it's asset backed kan. Memang you are the gold lah, and you have assets backing up your investment. But if let's say the value goes down, nothing much. Like for example, in PIDM, kita invest in MGSs. MGSs is like government papers, which is steady income. So dia punya tu is backed by government, so it's very secured. Because we are not looking, our business risk is not that high, but the returns are not that big. But it's okay, because for as long as those investments are riding the yield or protecting our principal, and these other things should be sufficient for us. But for individuals, again, the common thing that I have with investment is always, kalau you nak invest, you make sure that the investment money tu memang you're willing to lose. I mean those high risk lah. Kalau you rasa macam you cannot, and then you put that one, you're digging your own grave. So I think that's very key. You need to look at what are your investment risk ataupun your risk appetite for all these investments. Yeah.
Perhaps to answer this person questions, so if for an example, if he wants to invest in a gold, there are few criteria needed, whether he wants in the short term or long term. So if he wants to make in the short term, I think better if he invests in the short term securities market or the short term investment. The next question is also related to the investment, but I think it is quite general. Do you think that young people should start investing in the young age?
Okay, that one again depends on personally. I think when I started working, I have nothing to invest because a lot of expenses are relating to family building, career building, these kind of things. So, but it's good if let's say you have those kind of things. You have that kind of, it will really help you when you want to start something new. When you have, for example, if let's say you start saving or investing at the age of 20, when you want to start working, that invested money will really help you to have some head start. And then also when you want to get married, of course, a lot of costs, and then you want to build up your family, these kind of things, a lot of costs that will be involved. This investment really comes handy. But I also know that, not everybody have the luxury to do just that. But of course, if let's say you're not investing, it's okay. But make sure that you don't have too much of a debts. That one is another form of investment, I would have said. Because, by having a lot of debts, that's also is actually a bad head start that you can have. It's not necessarily investing, just reduce the debts. I think that's would suffice for a start.
Okay, the next question is about the system, I think. Can the system detect any fraud manipulated by the human, for an example, the computer, or the human will play their role in the detecting the fraud, for example, the auditor?
Okay, like any systems, of course, before we implement the system, we have taking into account all the security features in the system itself. So I don't expect myself to, detect these frauds or issues. That's why we put in the controls upfront. What kind of controls? Normally, like for example, accounts code, who is the authorized person that can enter the transactions by using user IDs. These are the things that are predominantly addressing the issues of fraud, this kind of thing. Because if let's say somebody is not authorized to do that, and when they come in to do just that, that is a red flag already. And auditors as well, I think at their end they have this system. I can't recall what was it, but they will monitor our transaction and they will see those transaction which is not normal. They can identify that. Like for example, they see transaction. That's why I said data analytics is very important. They can see the trends, and when they see some misappropriation or some not really normal, they will identify and they can deep dive to investigate the issues. So those are the key controls. But otherwise, all the normal tests, because certain companies, big companies, they have millions of transactions. It's really impossible for you to track one particularly. But again, those are the security features that we have in the system upfront, and the user ID is playing a lot of key areas in here.
Okay. The next question is about the vulnerability that might expose the system or the software in the organizations to the hackers or to the unsafe situations. So the question is, what will they do to overcome this problem, and based on what the hackers doing lah?
Okay, I think your question is towards what are the security defense aspects that we are doing, right? You're asking about what are the organizations are doing. Okay, This question again, much more related to our IT guys, but I sort of like know the context overall. Of course, like what I said, we have purchased a lot of security devices. We have two authentication and certain system that have high level of risk. We have a lot of security aspects of it. We have VPN for you to the virtual private network for you to enter from outside, and there's so many things that we are adhering to, and there are so many red flags or notifications that they are getting in order for them to safeguard, and the communication is very key, because whenever that they have all these issues, immediately this get communicated, and then we are alerted by this so-called issues. Having said that, also I just like to share also, like for example, like if let's say they were to attack our server here, we also have a disaster recovery site where we can, switch off, like macam for example your handphone got stolen kan, your data is all there, and you wanted to make sure that your data is not accessible by these irresponsible people lah. So you wipe out all the information. Similarly, we can do just that, wipe out, and we have a backup that mirrors is real time. So shut down here, go up the other side, make sure that the data is data integrity is still there, the data information is there. So those are the things that we can do. Those are the things that we have. I mean, as a last resort lah normally. But the security defenses are very tight, especially on the encryption side, the data on virtual private network. These are the things that we have. Yep.
So I think, thank you, sir, for answering all the questions from the audience. So I think that's all for the second sessions. It can, meaning to say, it can be said that for this topic about the emerging issues, it can be happen anytime. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it depends on how the accounting and the finance practitioners in the industry, they want to cope with it, or they want to handle with that kind of situation.
Or maybe they are expert in that field, so that is why they know well about it.
Yeah, quite expertise in that field, or based on their knowledge or their skills.
Oh, so as for today's session, is utterly great, and I think all of us gain some benefits from this talk. I hope that it will be very useful for today and also in the future.
Yes, of course it will be benefited, because I got some benefits and new knowledge as well, Kesh, because if you said you are accounting students, I'm accounting students as well. But sadly, it is sadly to say that the time now shows 4:30 p.m. and yeah, time really does fly. And I think it is our time to end our series Wacana Ilmu Perkongsian Elective 7 series. This was all about this event. I hope all of you enjoyed this mesmerized program. On behalf of the organizer, Faculty of Accountancy and UiTM Cawangan Sabah, Kampus Kota Kinabalu, thank you to our both speakers, Mr. Peter and Mr. Muhammad Salihin. Let us give them a big applause. And to the audience and participants, thank all of you for joining and remaining with us during this delightful event. I think, Katrina, before we end our program, shall we have a photography session?
Yes, we should. I would like to encourage all of our participants to turn on your camera. So publicity will take over.
Okay, thank you, Kashrina. All the participants and staff can open your camera. Okay, I'm gonna count 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Smile. One again. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Back to the moderator.
Thank you to the publicity, Zarin. So that's all for the session for today. Once again, thank you to the participants and thank you to our both speakers. Hope you enjoyed our event. That's all.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Thank you, Encik Salihin.